When I returned home after a 3-day business trip, I sensed something was wrong even before I opened the front door. The mailbox looked oddly swollen. Dragging my tired body, I pulled out the mail, and among it was an unfamiliar envelope. The sender, District Court. My hands trembled. The moment I tore open the seal and read the document inside, the world stopped. You are being charged with child abuse. The victim is Ethan Mitchell, age 12. Failure to appear will result in a warrant for your arrest. I couldn't breathe. Ethan. My son. Abuse? That was impossible. Absolutely impossible. Because my son Ethan had been in a coma since a traffic accident a year ago and was still lying in a hospital bed, asleep. I frantically grabbed my bag and jumped into my car. 20 minutes to the hospital. Every time I stopped at a red light, my hands shook. Someone was using my name. Using my son's name. But why? For what purpose? I parked in the hospital lot and ran to the intensive care unit. The regular nurse looked at me with surprise. Sarah, are you okay? You look pale. Ethan. Where's Ethan? In his usual place. Nothing's changed. I hurried into my son's room. The scene was unchanged. The bed covered in white sheets. 4 tubes. The regular sound of the monitor. And my son Ethan sleeping quietly. Just as he had been for the past year. I sank down beside the bed and took my son's hand. Warm. Alive. But he wouldn't wake up. Ethan, it's Mama. Mama's here. The nurse called out from behind me. Sarah, are you really okay? Did something happen? I showed her the notice from the court. It seems someone reported me for abusing Ethan using my name. But Ethan is here. He's been here all along. The nurse read the document and turned pale. This is a mistake. Someone's harassing you maliciously. You need to talk to a lawyer. That afternoon, I visited a law office. The lawyer, Mark Davis, listened to my story and wore a serious expression. Sarah, this isn't a simple mistake. Someone may be using your name to abuse another child. What do you mean? We need to contact the police and prove that Ethan is in the hospital. And we need to find out where this report came from. The next day, I was called to the police station. A detective looked at me with cold eyes. Mrs. Mitchell, you're abusing your son Ethan, aren't you? No. Ethan is in a coma at the hospital. But we have photographic evidence. Pictures of an abused child. The detective laid out photographs on the table. I gasped. They showed a boy covered in bruises. But it wasn't my son. This isn't my son. Then whose child is it? I stared at the photograph. A boy about 8 years old. I felt like I'd seen him somewhere before. But who? Then suddenly, the memory came back. 3 months ago, my sister Jennifer had called. I got Alex back from my ex-husband. I can finally live with my son. I said with a trembling voice, this might be my nephew. The detective frowned at my words. Why do you think that? I looked at the photograph again. The small body covered in bruises. The frightened eyes. My sister's son, Alex. I heard she took him from her ex-husband 3 months ago. He's 8 years old. But according to the report, this child is your son Ethan, age 12. That's a lie. My son is in the hospital. Please verify it. The detective started to say something, but my lawyer Mark cut in. The fact that my client's son is in a coma can be proven by medical records. Please verify with the hospital immediately. And I'd like to know who filed this report. The detective reluctantly opened a file. The reporter is anonymous. The first call came 3 months ago. After that, photographs were mailed in. 3 months ago. The same time my sister took Alex. Was it a coincidence? No, it couldn't be a coincidence. Even with an anonymous report, isn't there any clue? The voice on the phone, the postmark, anything. The detective looked at me. Doubt still lingered in his eyes. I'll look into it. However, Mrs. Mitchell, until we have evidence of your innocence, this case continues. When I left the police station, my legs were shaking. Mark put his hand on my shoulder. Sarah, calm down. Someone's trying to frame you. And if your guess is correct, Alex is still being abused. Those words pierced my heart. Alex. My nephew. If the child in those photographs was really him, he might be suffering at this very moment. Should we contact Child Protective Services? Mark shook his head. Let's verify the facts first. You need to see your sister and check on Alex. I drove to Jennifer's house. My sister and I had barely spoken for the past year, since Ethan's accident. In that accident, my sister's daughter Lily had died. And my sister hated me, hated Ethan. My sister's house was in a quiet residential area. As I parked and walked toward the front door, my hands trembled. I pressed the doorbell. I heard footsteps inside. The door opened. My sister Jennifer stood there. A haggard face. Deep dark circles under her eyes. She looked much older than a year ago. Sarah. What do you want? Her voice was cold. I took a deep breath. I want to see Alex. My sister's expression hardened. Why? I want to make sure he's doing well. You took him in 3 months ago, didn't you? As his aunt, isn't it natural to want to see him? My sister started to say something but closed her mouth. He's at school now. School. Then can you show me a picture? A recent photo. Why? I took a step forward. Jennifer, please. Show me a picture of Alex. My sister hesitated. That behavior told me everything. She slowly took out her smartphone and turned the screen toward me. The boy in the photo was the same one the police had shown me. Alex. But this must have been from before the police photos. No bruises yet. No smile either, just an expressionless face. Something inside me collapsed. Jennifer, what did you do? My sister remained silent. The police have photographs you sent. Pictures of Alex. Pictures of an abused child. But you told the police it was my son Ethan. The color drained from my sister's face. Why did you do such a thing? After a long silence, my sister spoke. You finally figured it out. There was resignation in her voice, as if she had no intention of hiding it anymore. You did it, didn't you? You abused Alex and tried to frame me. That's right. My sister's eyes were glazed. I did it all. I took Alex back from my ex-husband, abused him, took pictures, and sent them to the police. I lied that your son Ethan was being abused. I gave them your address too. Everything went according to plan. I was speechless. The person standing before me wasn't the sister I knew. Why? I finally squeezed out my voice. Why would you do such a thing? My sister's face twisted. Why? You ask why? Because your son killed my daughter. Ethan is in a coma. From that accident. But he's alive, isn't he? My sister shouted. Even in a coma, he's alive. Breathing. But Lily is dead. At 10 years old. Pushed by your son and run over by a car. I shook my head. Ethan wouldn't do such a thing. There was a witness. It's written in the police report. Ethan pushed Lily. And then the car came. Tears overflowed. For the past year, I'd been facing that fact. Why Ethan had done such a thing. I didn't know the reason. But I couldn't believe that Ethan had intentionally hurt Lily, as my sister believed. Jennifer, there must have been some reason. Reason? The reason doesn't matter. The result is the same. My daughter is dead, and your son is alive. You can still be a mother. But I lost everything. At that moment, a small voice came from the back of the entrance. Mama. We turned around. A small boy stood there. Alex. Thin, with fresh bruises on his face. Looking at us with frightened eyes. I thought he was at school. I glared at my sister. My sister didn't answer. Just then, I heard the sound of sirens outside. Before leaving the police station, I had asked Mark to make calls. To Child Protective Services and the police. If my guess was correct, Alex needed to be protected immediately. A patrol car stopped in front of my sister's house. The door opened and a detective came in. Jennifer Thompson, you're under arrest for child abuse and filing a false report. My sister didn't resist. She just stared at me. In her eyes were hatred and deep sadness. Fine. But Sarah, remember this. Your son is a murderer. The detective led my sister away. Alex was trembling in the corner. I approached him and knelt down. Alex, it's okay. You're safe now. The boy looked at me. There was no emotion in his eyes. Just emptiness. A Child Protective Services worker took Alex away. I was left alone in my sister's house. Leaning against the wall, I felt like I might collapse. My sister had hated me. For the entire past year. And she had planned revenge. Even sacrificing her own son. But my sister's words wouldn't leave my mind. Ethan had pushed Lily. Was that really true? That night, I couldn't sleep at all. My sister's words echoed repeatedly in my head. Your son is a murderer. The next morning, I called my lawyer Mark. I want to see the accident records. All the records from the accident a year ago. Mark hesitated a little but eventually answered. Sarah, is this really necessary? You've suffered enough already. I need to know. What Ethan really did. Why he pushed Lily. There must have been a reason. I understand. Let's go to the police station and get the accident records. A few hours later, we were in a conference room at the police station. The detective in charge brought a thick file. Records of the traffic accident from a year ago. The victims were Ethan Mitchell, age 12, and Lily Thompson, age 10. Lily died at the scene. Ethan was transported in critical condition and remains in a coma. The detective opened the file. According to witness testimony, immediately after Ethan Mitchell pushed Lily Thompson, a car came crashing in. The car was a speeding truck, and the driver was later arrested. What was the reason Ethan pushed Lily? The detective shook his head. We couldn't determine that. The witness didn't see why he did it. Just the fact that he pushed her. I took a deep breath. Is there security camera footage? The detective thought for a moment. There was a store near the accident scene. There might have been a security camera. However, at the time, we judged that eyewitness testimony was sufficient and didn't check the footage. Can we check it now? The detective looked at me. There was sympathy in his eyes. I don't know if footage from a year ago still exists, but let's try. 2 days later, the detective contacted me. Sarah, we found the footage. Please come to the police station. I rushed to the police station. Mark came too. In the conference room, the detective and a monitor were set up. Are you ready? This might be painful to watch. I nodded. Please. The detective played the footage. The screen showed a sidewalk. Then two children came walking. Ethan and Lily. Laughing and talking. A happy scene. Tears filled my eyes. The first time in a year I'd seen Ethan moving. Then in the next moment, a car appeared at high speed from the edge of the screen. Ethan turned around. He noticed the car. Then he reached toward Lily and pushed her. Just as my sister had said. Ethan had pushed Lily. The footage continued. The car rushed toward Lily. Then it caught both children. The image shook. The screen became distorted. I covered my eyes. I couldn't watch. The detective said, "Sarah, please watch again. This time in slow motion. Please, that's enough." "Sarah." Mark squeezed my hand. "Watch it. Until the end." I opened my eyes with trembling hands. The detective rewound the footage and played it in slow motion. Ethan turns around. Notices the car. Reaches toward Lily. And pushes her. But watching in slow motion, something was different. Ethan wasn't pushing Lily toward the road. He was trying to push her away from the road, deeper into the sidewalk. And he put himself in front of the car. I gasped. "Once more, please." The detective played it again. This time it was clear. Ethan was trying to protect Lily. Trying to move her away from the car. But the car was too fast. Ethan's body was thrown by the car. And with that impact, Lily was caught up too. Both of them fell. Unmoving. I cried out loud. Mark held my shoulder. Ethan was trying to protect Lily. The detective said quietly, "Yes. Your son was a hero. He tried to move Lily away from the car. But the car was too fast, and both were caught up in it." I stared at the screen. The two children lying there. The ambulance arriving. People gathering. Why wasn't this checked at the time? The detective answered apologetically, "We judged that eyewitness testimony was sufficient. We thought the fact that Ethan pushed her didn't change. But we didn't verify the reason. This was our mistake." I stood up. "I want to show this footage to my sister. Jennifer Thompson. She's in jail now. Can I visit her?" The detective nodded. "I'll arrange it." 3 days later, I was at the detention center. I waited for my sister in the visiting room. The door opened and my sister came in. A haggard face. Vacant eyes. "Sarah." My sister's voice was weak. We faced each other through the glass. I took out a tablet. "Watch this." "What is it?" "Footage from the accident a year ago. It was captured on a security camera." My sister frowned. "I don't want to see it." "Please. Watch." I played the footage. At first, my sister looked away, but eventually she looked at the screen. Then her eyes widened. Ethan reaches toward Lily. Pushes her. But he's trying to protect her. The color drained from my sister's face. I showed her the slow-motion footage too. Ethan trying to move Lily away from the car. Trying to shield her with his own body. My sister's hands trembled. Ethan was trying to protect Lily. He noticed the car and tried to push Lily out of the way. But he didn't make it in time. My sister couldn't take her eyes off the screen. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "It's a lie. A lie. This is the truth, Jennifer. Ethan wasn't trying to kill Lily. He was trying to protect her. He was a hero." My sister collapsed. She covered her face with both hands and cried violently. "No. That can't be. I've hated Ethan. For a whole year. I thought he was the child who killed Lily. So I tried to get revenge. I tried to make you suffer, Sarah. I abused Alex, my own son. Everything was wrong. I was crying too. But this is the truth. Ethan loved Lily. He tried to protect his cousin. That's all. My sister raised her face. It was distorted with tears and regret. Sarah, I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. What have I done? Ethan was a hero, but I hated him. And I made you suffer. I hurt Alex. I. She couldn't form words. My sister just kept crying. I gripped the receiver. Jennifer, you have to atone for your crimes. What you did to Alex, what you did to me. But I understand your pain. The pain of losing Lily. My sister looked at me. Will you forgive me? I don't know yet. But someday, the day might come when I can. The visiting time came to an end. I stood up. Tell Ethan, my sister said. If he wakes up, tell him. Thank you for trying to protect Lily. And I'm sorry. I nodded. I'll tell him. When I left the detention center, my heart felt a little lighter. The truth had been revealed. Ethan was innocent. No, more than innocent, he was a hero. But at the same time, there was deep sadness. My sister had suffered from misunderstanding for a year. And that suffering had led to irreversible crimes. I looked up at the sky. Somewhere, was Lily watching? Did she know that Ethan had tried to protect her? I should go see Ethan. And tell him the truth. Even if he can't hear me. After leaving the detention center, I went straight to the hospital. When I entered Ethan's room, there was the same stillness as always. The sound of the monitor. The dripping of the four. And my son sleeping quietly. I sat beside the bed and held Ethan's hand. Ethan, it's Mama. I came to talk to you about something very important today. My son's face was peaceful. I'd been looking at this face for a year. But today was different. Today I knew the truth. You tried to protect Lily, didn't you? You tried to move her away from the car. Even putting your own life in danger. Mama is so proud of you. Tears overflowed. But today's tears weren't just sadness. They were mixed with pride in my son, love, and deep gratitude. Aunt Jennifer knows the truth now too. That you were a hero. That you loved Lily. She was crying. She asked me to tell you thank you. Just then, a nurse came in. Sarah, are you okay? I wiped my tears. Yes, I'm fine. I was just talking to my son. The nurse smiled gently. Talking to him is good. Maybe he can hear you. I nodded. I sincerely hoped that was true. A few days later, Child Protective Services contacted me. It was about Alex. Mrs. Mitchell, we'd like to talk to you about Alex. We contacted his father, Jennifer's ex-husband, but he's currently stationed overseas and can't return immediately. We're looking for family members who could temporarily take in Alex. I hesitated for just a moment. But the answer came quickly. I'll take him in. Really? But with your son's situation. That's exactly why. Alex isn't to blame for anything. He's a victim, actually. I want to take care of him. A week later, Alex came to my house. Holding one small suitcase, he stood timidly at the entrance. Alex, welcome. This is your new home. The boy looked up at me. Fear was still in his eyes. Where's Mama? I knelt down to meet his eyes. Your mother is taking responsibility for what she did. But her love for you hasn't changed. It's just that right now, She's very sad and confused and couldn't make the right decisions. Is it because I was a bad boy that Mama got angry? I hugged the boy. No, Alex. You did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. Your mother was wrong. You're a good boy. A very good boy. Alex trembled slightly in my arms. From that day on, our new life began. In the morning, I'd take Alex to school, work during the day, visit Ethan at the hospital in the afternoon, and pick up Alex in the evening. The days were busy, but strangely, my heart felt fulfilled. At first, Alex was a very quiet child. He hardly spoke and was always in the corner of the room. But gradually, he changed. One day at dinner, Alex asked, "When will big brother Ethan wake up?" I stopped washing dishes. I don't know. The doctors say they don't know either. But I believe he'll wake up someday. I want to meet him. Big brother. Shall we go to the hospital together this weekend? Alex's eyes lit up. Really? That weekend, I took Alex to the hospital. When we entered Ethan's room, Alex stopped in surprise. Is big brother sleeping? Yes, for a long time now. Alex slowly approached the bed. He won't wake up. Not now. But I believe he will someday. Alex touched Ethan's hand. Big brother, I'm Alex. Please wake up. I want to play with you. Those innocent words brought tears to my eyes. After that, we visited the hospital every weekend. Alex talked to Ethan. About what happened at school, about his friends, about games he liked. Ethan never responded, but Alex didn't give up. Then 3 months passed. One Saturday afternoon, we were at the hospital as usual. Alex was telling Ethan about a new book he'd read. I was looking out the window. That's when it happened. The sound of the monitor changed. I turned around. Ethan's finger had moved. Slightly, but definitely moved. Ethan. I grabbed my son's hand. Once more, his finger moved. This time clearly. Get the nurse, I told Alex. The boy rushed out into the hallway. I stared at Ethan's face. His eyelids were trembling faintly. Ethan, can you hear me? It's Mama. Mama's here. His eyelids slowly opened. Unfocused eyes looked at me. Mama. A hoarse voice. My son's voice, heard for the first time in a year. I hugged my son. The tears wouldn't stop. Ethan, welcome back. Welcome back. Nurses and doctors rushed in. Tests began. Ethan had regained consciousness, but his body was still weak. Even talking seemed difficult. But he had woken up. That alone was enough. Alex was crying quietly in the corner of the room. Big brother woke up. That night, I wrote a letter to my sister. Ethan has woken up. He's still weak, but he's regained consciousness. I told him about the accident. How he tried to protect Lily. And that you learned the truth. Ethan cried. He regrets not being able to save Lily. But he says he wants to see you. When you're ready, please come visit. Alex is doing well too. He goes to school every day and is gradually getting his smile back. Your son is a strong child. And he loves you. We're family. We were broken, but I believe we can reconnect. I put the letter in an envelope and wrote the detention center's address. 2 weeks later, a reply came. Hearing that Ethan woke up, I couldn't stop crying. I feel joy, regret, and gratitude all mixed together. Thank you for Alex too. I'm a failed mother. But you saved my son. I'll atone someday. And if I'm forgiven, I want to reconnect as family. I want to see Ethan. I want to see Alex. I want to apologize to you. It may take time, but I'll wait. I held the letter to my chest. The road ahead was still long. But I could see hope. In the hospital garden, Ethan sat in a wheelchair. Rehabilitation had begun. Alex was laughing beside him. "Big brother, look. There's a bird." Ethan smiled. Still weak, but definitely a smile. As I watched them, I thought, we lost so much. Lily, my relationship with my sister, peaceful days. But at the same time, we gained things too. Truth, forgiveness, and new bonds. I don't know what will happen from here. But we'll move forward. Step by step. As family. 6 months had passed since Ethan woke up. Rehabilitation was progressing well, and now he could walk with a cane. Most of his memory had returned too. He remembered everything about the accident, about Lily. "Mama, I want to visit Lily's grave today." One morning, Ethan said this. It was the first time since the accident. "Are you sure you're okay?" Ethan nodded. "I want to see Lily. There's something I want to tell her." That afternoon, we headed to the cemetery. Ethan, Alex, and me. Carrying white flowers. Lily's grave was in a quiet place. The grave of a girl who had fallen asleep forever at 10 years old. Ethan stopped in front of the gravestone and placed flowers. "Lily, I'm sorry. I couldn't save you." Ethan's voice trembled. "But I tried to protect you. I saw the car coming and tried to push you out of the way. I didn't make it in time though." Tears streamed down his cheeks. I gently placed my hand on my son's shoulder. Alex placed flowers too. "Lily, big sister, I'm Alex. We never met, but I've heard a lot about you from big brother Ethan. You were a kind person, weren't you?" Just then, a voice came from behind. "Ethan." I turned around, and there stood my sister. Haggard, but with a calmer expression than before. I'd heard she'd been released on bail, but I never expected to meet her here. Ethan looked at my sister. Their first reunion in over a year. "Aunt Jennifer." My sister slowly approached. There were tears in her eyes. "Ethan, thank you for waking up. And thank you for trying to protect Lily." "Aunt, I'm sorry. I couldn't save Lily." "No." My sister shook her head. "You did your best. You were a hero. I was wrong. I hated you, made Sarah suffer, hurt Alex. All of it was my sin." My sister knelt down in front of Alex. "Alex, can you forgive Mama?" The boy hesitated a little but eventually nodded slightly. "Mama, you won't hurt me anymore, right?" "Never again. I promise." Mama was sick. My heart was sick. But now I'm receiving treatment. I'll never, ever do that again. My sister hugged Alex. The boy was stiff at first, but eventually began crying in his mother's arms. "Mama, I was lonely. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." I was crying too. Ethan squeezed my hand. My sister stood up and looked at me. "Sarah, I'm truly sorry. I want to apologize to you, to Ethan, to Alex, to everyone. Jennifer." I took my sister's hand. "We're family. We were broken, but we can reconnect." The four of us stood in front of the gravestone. In front of Lily's grave. "Lily," my sister spoke. "Mama was wrong. I hated Ethan and hurt everyone. But you know what? Ethan tried to protect you. So rest in peace. You were loved. You are now, and you always will be." The wind blew. The leaves of the trees rustled. As if Lily was responding. Ethan said, "Lily, let's play again. Someday." Alex said too, I want to play with you too. We prayed quietly. For the life that was lost. And for the path we would walk from here. As we were leaving the cemetery, my sister said, Sarah, it's going to take a long time. I have to atone for my sins. But do you think we can truly become family again someday? It may take time. But we'll be waiting. Until you're ready. My sister smiled. A real smile, the first I'd seen in a year. On the way home, Ethan and Alex were walking hand in hand. Both of them laughing. I looked up at the sky. Blue sky. White clouds. And somewhere, I felt Lily watching over us. We lost so much. But at the same time, we gained so much. Truth, forgiveness, and bonds that reconnect. This isn't the end. It's a new beginning. As family, we'll start walking again. Step by step, forward.